Hello friends, welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Let's take a closer look at what's really happening with Meghan and Harry's so-called business empire right now. Oh, what a spectacle it is to witness the grand unraveling of their once hyped ventures. For all their talk of changing the world, making millions and becoming global superstars, the reality appears far less glamorous. The ventures, which were once touted as groundbreaking and revolutionary, now seem to be sinking faster than Meghan's approval ratings. As the world watches, it's almost comical to see how swiftly their business dreams are devolving into a series of costly missteps, questionable deals, and a rapid loss of relevance. Who could have guessed that transforming a royal title into a money-making machine would be this challenging? Certainly not Meghan and Harry. Is it possible that the duo has already seen their last big Netflix payday? When you think about it, remember that Harry went on Oprah and famously admitted, "I would never have signed on for it if we didn't need the money. Because we were cut off financially, that's the deal we're talking about." It's obvious he felt pressured, a middle-aged man financially cut off by his father forcing him to take action. Eventually, Netflix came knocking and he thought, why not? Fast forward a few years and things are looking a bit rockier with the Heart of Invictus series underwhelming and Meghan's rumored food show struggling to ignite viewer interest. What does the future hold for this pair? Remember, Netflix is a massive company. However, doing business with them is not as simple as it seems. Even they grapple with the financial realities of producing content. It's one of the toughest industries out there. The giants of streaming are doing well, but they're still navigating the challenges that come with it. The film industry has seen theaters closing in recent years, but ultimately it's the audience that decides what succeeds. With so many streaming options like Hulu, Disney, Paramount, and Netflix, the competition is fierce and consumers are spending their money wisely. Naturally, when Harry and Meghan signed their Netflix deal, many thought it would be a game changer. Indeed, they had some success with their documentary series, but it was nowhere near the level that Victoria and David Beckham achieved. The fact that Netflix poured so much money into Harry and Meghan, believing it would be a global sensation, is the very thing that has led to some regret on their part. So what's really going on? Ted Sarandos, the CEO of Netflix, was even mocked at an award ceremony over this deal. It's clear that many feel Netflix has been taken for a ride by these two, and yet Meghan remains adamant that her show will be groundbreaking and attract a huge audience. That might be wishful thinking. The concept, while perhaps interesting on paper, hasn't resonated as expected. Netflix isn't just going to cut ties with Harry and Meghan outright, they'll likely let them go quietly, piece by piece, as contracts expire. What I mean is, the contract won't be renewed at the same exorbitant rates. Are you pleased that Netflix is phasing out Harry and Meghan? If so, comment with a 1. Otherwise, comment with a 2. Let's be clear, if they didn't receive all that money up front, it's because the deal didn't perform as expected. So what happens next? Once the contract expires, there will be a polite PR statement saying Netflix wishes them well and that the door is always open for future projects. The message is clear: they'll be allowed to pursue other opportunities, but only if they can produce something of value. In essence, Netflix will end the relationship quietly when the money runs out, saving face on both sides. No one wants to admit they made a bad deal, do they? That's why these situations are handled delicately. Netflix might say, if you have something good, we'll consider it, but in reality, the contract will fade away without much fanfare. Let's be honest though, Netflix really did hit the jackpot, didn't they? All they need to do is release a few behind-the-scenes clips showing Meghan and Harry behaving like petulant children, and the ratings will soar. Just imagine the hilarity of watching two people who once thought they could bring down the entire monarchy with their truth bombs now floundering for relevance. When Netflix signed them, it was truly baffling. What was the draw? They're not actors, directors, or writers. What talent do they bring to the table? Maybe Netflix thought their constant whining and victim narratives could be spun into a tragic comedy. After all, the world could use a good laugh. The most compelling thing they've produced is the drama they create around themselves. If only they could channel that into something people actually want to watch, maybe they wouldn't be seeing their golden contract hanging by a thread. But don't worry, Netflix has been given golden advice on how to squeeze every last drop of value from these two grifters. The real footage, the behind-the-scenes chaos, that's where the ratings gold lies. Imagine the ratings boost from a docuseries showing Harry and Meghan unfiltered, unscripted, and undeniably unbearable. Netflix could turn this fiasco into their next big hit. Who needs real talent when you've got the ultimate reality show right in front of you? Two people who claim they left their royal life for privacy now desperately cling to any media attention they can get. Netflix thought they struck gold but ended up with two self-obsessed complainers. Maybe, just maybe, Netflix is starting to realize that the only thing worth airing is the reality of these two royals unraveling. It could be the comedy hit of the year, a masterclass in how not to handle fame, fortune, or family. Because let's face it, their endless contradictions and lack of self-awareness are far more entertaining than any scripted content they could hope to produce. Maybe Harry will be first in line with his handout when the king passes away. And who knows, maybe Meghan will be there too when her father passes, eager for her share of whatever is left. And let's not overlook the possibility that both Harry and Meghan might resort to writing even more scathing books about their fathers and the rest of the royal family, all in a bid to cash in further. These tours, particularly in the US, would continue to provide ample media exposure for their faltering brand, with little risk involved. While King Charles III seems largely unbothered by their antics, it's worth considering that he could, if he so desired, subtly disrupt their US ventures. These visits, after all, could be seen as demeaning and damaging to the British monarchy. Harry must truly be scraping the bottom of the barrel for cash these days. His incessant whining has reached such a level of absurdity that even his most loyal supporters are finding it hard to take seriously. It's almost laughable a man who calls himself a millionaire yet somehow manages to make the public feel like they're better off than he is. Every other week, there's a new pity parade, another dramatic outburst, another round of complaints about how tough his life is, all while he lounges in his multi-million-dollar mansion sipping lattes. Let's be clear, the world has moved on. The public's patience has worn thin with the endless victim narrative from a man who, by all accounts, should be thankful for the extraordinary privileges he was born into. Most people are grappling with real challenges keeping up with bills, putting food on the table, ensuring their kids get a decent education. And yet, here's Harry lamenting the loss of royal perks from his luxurious mansion in California. What does he expect? A standing ovation for turning his back on the monarchy. A round of applause for surviving the so-called hardships that most people can only dream of. Sorry, Harry, but the world's smallest violin has played its last note for your self-pitying saga. So here's a bit of advice, Harry. The next time you feel the urge to complain about how difficult life is as a multimillionaire, take a moment to consider the people out here in the real world who know what true hardship looks like. Spare us the sob stories, they've grown tiresome, and the number of people willing to listen is shrinking by the day. And that's what I wanted to express in today's video. Do you agree with my thoughts? Now it's your turn to share your ideas in the comments. Don't forget to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our The King YouTube channel. Thank you, and goodbye. I'll see you next time.